June 26th, 2013. I'm Dave.
I'm Joe.
This is the Biff Podcast. This is Volume 3 of Biff Gear Talk. Today we're going to be talking about our guitar equipment. Now, it's about 4:15 in the afternoon. Seth is late. We don't know where he is, so we're just going to start without him, which is kind of okay because technically all the gear that he uses is mine. So I can tell you all about it. Hopefully he'll get here later. He can tell us about some of his guitars. We'll start with the amp. This is a Ampeg V4B. It's actually a bass amp. It's vintage gear. I bought it, gosh, about 8 years ago. No, more than that. At least 10 years ago. It's been a great amp. Had to repair tubes on it a couple times. It was popularized by bands like Queens of the Stone Age. And my buddy John recommended I get it, so I picked it up. And we have a Marshall cabinet here. What is that, 410s in there? I think probably at least 2 or 3 of them work. Yeah, the amp rig is great. I'll move that so you can see it better. Let's see. I don't even know what this is. JCM 900. Feels good stuff. Alright, so Seth, just heard from Seth. He's running a little late.
Focus.
So, Seth's getting his ribs looked at. Poor guy. Had some tough...
That's what you get when you're not a hard-working individual on this planet and decide to buy a fucking car. You get in fucking bike accidents because you're stupid. I could talk shit about him because he's not fucking here.
Good luck with that, buddy. So, yeah. The amp, we've used this to record the guitar on all of the recent Biff albums. Before this, I used the same cabinet, but I had a crate combo amp. Again, a bass amp. Remember that one, Joe? The big ass.
Yes. That was a good
15 in there. I still have it. It's over at Matt's house.
Reasonable unit.
Yeah. So there was that before this that we used on the first couple albums, but this has been definitely part of the Biff sound. Don't know how many days she's got left, so
we'll see.
We'll enjoy her while we have her. All right, so the pedals. I've had this pedal board for as long as I've had the amp, basically, at least 10 years or so. I used to use it in my old band Apsis. It's in desperate need of a going through.
Fucking electrical hazard is what it is.
We're usually getting the fuck shocked out of us. Well, that's partly because of this room, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure it's the board.
Okay.
I've never been shocked by anything of mine. I can fuck around with all of my pedals and hold my guitar at the same time. You can't do that with this particular device.
Okay.
Don't touch Seth's strings.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so we got classic Boss chromatic tuner, very important. Boss Metal Zone MT2, pretty standard. You know, it's probably not the best choice, but it's always worked pretty well for us. We couple that with classic Big Muff. Actually, I guess this isn't a classic one; it's like a newer style.
Yeah.
But that's more of the fuzz sound that we have, like say at the beginning of Mercury of Mercy. Next up here, well, you see there's a space missing. Now, this kills me that these two guys are missing right here, and we're gonna get them back someday. I'll go ahead and cut to a picture here. We have the Univibe, which is basically a chorus pedal. It stopped working because I guess there's little light bulbs inside it that need to be replaced. But this is a key pedal for the Biff sound. It can be heard in songs such as "Aw Fuck," like in the beginning of the song. And we're also missing the wah pedal because it also broke. I have a killer whale wah, which is a great wah. I love wah. I miss our wah.
I doubt Seth does.
Yeah, Seth's not really, he's never used it a whole lot. I'm trying to think of some Biff songs that have wah in it. Definitely, It's All Good.
The bitch went to the store. She knew exactly what she was looking for.
And probably some stuff off Biff Returns. Like wah is one of my favorite guitar pedals. So, but they do have a shelf life. They tend to break pretty often. The potentiometer, I guess, wears out. Whatever. Next in line is a Dan Electro Cool Cat. This is a chorus pedal. Seth uses the fuck out of this thing.
Yes, he does.
Probably Chivalry.
He uses it in Even the Sun Will Die.
He uses it in Biff or Die.
Mm-hmm.
Frequently used pedal. Bought it from a buddy of mine. Always been real happy with it. Then we have the rest are Boss here. Boss Flanger BF3. Also used pretty frequently by Seth. Definitely uses it in Stuck in Yuma. And many other songs. Phase Shifter, PH3. He uses this one kind of frequently, but he's always got it set fairly high on the speed, I think, so it sounds a lot like this to me. You know, I think when you have your phaser slower, you get that more classic phase kind of sound. You think of a song he uses this in? Me neither. Wish he was here so we could ask him. Tremolo. TR2. I believe this used to be your pedal, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Perhaps I purchased it from you.
I think I gave it to
some
you.
Capacity.
I think it just was happy for it to get used. I never used it that much.
Yeah. I don't think Seth uses it much either. I can't think of.
Yeah, I've seen it on a couple times, but
My problem with this pedal is that I've always felt that it cuts your signal so bad. You turn it on and like your whole rig just gets a lot quieter.
yeah.
And John knew of a guy on the internet that you could send your Boss pedals to, and he would mod them, and that was one of the things that he was supposed to be able to fix. And last but certainly not least, the delay.
It's a digital delay.
Digital delay.
We're going to assume a D5.
DD5, I think. Seth uses the fuck out of this.
Yes, and has fucking conniption fits. Even when nothing gets changed, he always thinks it's wrong.
But yeah, definitely probably the most frequently used pedal other than the distortion boxes. You know, back to the flanger real quick. Do you remember, Joe, my original flanger pedal, the DOD?
Mm-hmm.
I loved that flanger pedal.
It almost looks like the color of the tremolo.
Yeah, it was like a grayish blue color,
Yeah.
I think. So I used that on the first couple Biff albums, and the song that I think of, well, maybe I can pull up a picture here on the internet if I can find it, but used it in Ill Comprehension and ICBD. Yeah, they just didn't make them as sturdy as these, and I think the button wore out. I'm pretty sure that John has it still in his graveyard of shit. So, there's the pedals. Hopefully we'll get this board cleaned up here real soon. Get some of these electronics figured out. Like, we have this big-ass box here that I have super glued to the power strip, and these things, like, I needed it when we created this board, like, 10 years ago, but these days you don't
longer than
that.
Yeah, this board for way longer than that.
Well, I think I made this in 2002.
Okay,
is when I started Apsis.
It
used to be bigger. I used to have it all on a different board. But yeah, we gotta get those other two back and get it cleaned up and get some new power source somehow. Hopefully we'll stop getting shocked. On to guitars. So back to the early Biff days, there's two guitars that we used to use that I don't have here at the practice space. So I can clip to them here, but the first is a Fender jag-stang, which is at my buddy John's house getting repaired right now. Had some fret work that needed to be done on it and had sunken pickups, and that poor guitar just been beaten to hell. Of course, the jag-stang was designed by Kurt Cobain, and after doing a little research, I've learned that he actually took a Polaroid of a Jaguar and a Mustang guitar and spliced them together, and that was like his basic idea, and met with some Fender people, and then they made the guitar for him. So being 14, 15 years old and a huge Nirvana fan, of course I had to have one, so I got one, and it was got a lot of use out of this guitar. And they only made two different colors. One was the Fiesta Red, as I have here, and the other one was like a baby blue color. It's gotten banged up a lot and repaired and banged up again, and now we're waiting for it to get fixed up, and who knows, maybe it'll grace the Biff sound once again someday. Next in line in Biff history was this guitar. It's a Yamaha SBG 500, and we call this the acquired guitar because it used to belong to Joe's former brother-in-law, and he kind of just left it with us and never asked for it back.
We didn't make that strong of an effort to give it back either.
But this is a fantastic guitar. I used it a lot in Apsis, and I used it in kind of the latter days of the original Biff incarnation. Like, used this guitar a lot on the SBIP album. I believe these were popularized by Carlos Santana before he got into the PRS stuff. But it's probably circa 1980, I would guess. Early 80s. Got a great sound, and serves as kind of a backup guitar for Biff these days. The other guitar is also not here. It's at my house. I'll clip to it right now. It's a Ibanez PF100, another early 80s vintage guitar. Found it at a pawn shop about 10 or 11 years ago. It's a great guitar. It's basically a Les Paul copy, and I heard that they only made them for a year or two because they got sued by Gibson. Just a fantastic guitar, and Seth used it a lot when Biff first reformed until he got his own Les Paul. So, yeah, the rest of these guitars are his, so I'll let him have a few words whenever he shows up here.
He's not going to want to do that when he gets here.
Tough
He's getting his
shit.
fucking ribs x-rayed. He's not even going to want to play.
Tough shit.
I say you go over his Les Paul, or I will by myself.
All right, Joe. Well, first tell us about Grimace.
Well, this was... Let me tell you what I know. I'm sure there's more to the story. This is Grimace. Obviously, by the purple nature of the guitar, that is why it has the name.
Named after the popular McDonald's character.
It's your standard Fender.
It's a Mexican standard.
Mexican standard for Stratocaster.
Got a humbucker in there.
Yep, a little
Seymour
extra
Duncan.
Biff sticker, which just makes it that much dumber and sound that much worse. As far as I know, this thing always sounded like ass, but it did sound a lot better once we put that humbucker in it.
Yeah.
Which I believe Seth did when he was searching for a guitar of his own to play in the band.
Yeah, I think that was his brother's or something.
Yeah. It's got some modification, or we'll call it character. And then there's his Les Paul. Which is his standard guitar of choice. It's
Tobacco
yours.
Burst.
Studio.
Les Paul.
Sounds great, nice and heavy. This thing's loose. We don't care. He keeps these strings loose because they sound funny, I don't think, and I don't know. Or we just don't have anything to cut them with, I think, is the real
Well,
reason.
that's just his thought that he's original or something.
But, yeah, that's what he plays most of the time. He's talked about selling it and shit because he always needs money. But then he would be without any of his own gear in the band. He had one incident, he was walking up on a stage and he tripped and smashed this machine head. Now, he had the spare one, he didn't have a gold one, and he would not fucking put it in, so I went over to his house and installed it for him. So he could keep his goddamn G-string in fucking tune. Because it kind of held it, but it wasn't really exactly in tune.
Uh-huh.
But all in all, in my personal opinion, the best sounding Biff guitar that has ever graced the band. But that's just me.
All right, well, thanks, Joe. We'll see if Seth wants to say anything when he gets here.
I doubt it.
So, Seth, glad you can make it. Hope you're feeling all right.
I'm not so glad I was able to make it, but anyways.
So, we went ahead without you with the podcast about the guitar stuff.
I'm actually really pleased to hear that.
What'd I fucking tell you?
You told me that something about
I
him.
said Seth probably won't want to do it. Why don't we just talk about his guitars without it?
Well, that's what we did.
Good. I got a nice tube top.
Sexy.
Fuck.
Well, is there anything you want to say about your guitars or any of this gear? Now is your only chance ever.
Nope.
It's hard to talk about other people's shit, huh?
That's my guitar.
Thrown around there.
You know, that's not even technically yours.
It's for all
girlfriend's.
The guitar is yours.
For all intents and purposes, it's mine. I think one of these guitar cables belongs to me as well.
Oh, wow.
Where are all these
He's moving
fucking
up.
guitar cables, by the way? Oh, here's one. What the fuck is going on around here? Oh, that's nice. I fucking can't even be angry because it hurts! It hurts! It hurts!
Okay, well, thanks for sharing.
Sorry I was late. Is that a new tattoo?
get today.
Hey, do you use the tremolo in anything?
Not in anything that we play in the band. I use it when I'm here by myself, playing sad songs. I use the tremolo.
Sad
for
songs?
For solo sad songs.
Okay. Anything you want to say about the board?
Yeah, it's really clean right now. Looks nice.
Yep.
It's missing some pedals.
Yep, we covered that.
Let's see. I really like all the pedals. This one's awesome. What's this? A fuzz pedal? Is this the fuzz pedal?
Yeah, it's a big muff, fuzz, distortion.
What is it?
And yeah.
What gauge strings do you use in your guitars?
Medium gauge. 48 to 11 range. 48
Right, so
gauge to 11 gauge. Sure.
11 gauge.
But they make strings that are also 11 gauge, but they go lower, like 52 11s. They make that. So you can't just say 11, because that could mean a whole bunch of different fucking things.
When you say 11 gauge, that means that it starts at 11 and goes up.
It doesn't matter when it ends.
Well, if you have more than 6 strings, then it doesn't end until you get to the end of your strings.
Don't argue with the man. Shut it off and get behind the fucking drum set.
For the Biff Podcast, I'm Dave.
Set.
I'm Joe.
See you next time.